Chris Hemsworth after was Immortal Joe. I'm like, is this supposed to be Mad Max? But they didn't meet until the
No,
next
because
movie.
we see Mad Max in a shot.
That's bait.
All right. Greetings, everybody. Welcome to edition of the Heroes Peak podcast. I am your host, Chris, and I am your ever faithful Fury Road maintenance crew manager. With me today to work on this highway, which doesn't get enough love, it's Mike. How you doing, Mike?
Good. I'm ready for Mad Max because I've been driving on that ice road for years now.
Are you ice road trucker?
That's right.
All right.
Ready to go.
And James. How you doing, James?
You know what sucked? Imagine being an engineer with the capability of creating solar farms and electric-powered vehicles in this wasteland. Yeah, everybody's still doing diesel fucking engines and shit.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah, what are they doing? They're wasting their time with all this oil. And it's a limited resource. Are they still pulling it out? I couldn't quite tell. I guess we'll get there after.
Mm-hmm.
Shrink down. I don't need that much space for our Discord chat. Anyway, so today, if you haven't guessed, we are talking about Mad Max. Well, I guess it's called Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, which is the prequel to the 2015 masterpiece, the action masterpiece. It's kind of unfortunate for this movie, which is itself a sequel to the Mad Max trilogy from the early 80s, which are not quite to the same level. They are all written and directed by George Miller. Also, a writing credit to Nick Lathoris, I think his name is, whose only IMDb writing credits are all of these new Mad Max movies. And it's a trilogy. There is a new one in development, so there will be a third Mad Max movie. And much like Indiana Jones, it'll be created out of order for some reason.
Mm.
And this one stars Anya Taylor-Joy as our Emperor Furiosa. Imperior? The hell is the word? I don't know. They used a word before Furiosa. Emperosa? Imperior? Emperor? Something with an emp? I don't know.
I think you're making it up. But go ahead.
I don't know. Whatever. All right. Driver Furiosa.
No, they call themselves Praetorians.
Praetorian. Okay.
Praetorian Jack and whatever her name was.
That's something
Praetorian
like that.
Furiosa.
All right. And Chris Hemsworth playing...
You mean the drivers?
Yeah.
Yeah, the drivers were Praetorians.
Praetorian Furiosa? Is that really what they call it?
Yeah.
Let me go Mad Max, the other one. Imperator.
Imperador.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I can't even say regular words now. Imperator. Furiosa. I can still say that. Anyway.
Yeah.
And Chris Hemsworth playing a villain, which is the sign that you as a Marvel hero have finally made your way to your next level of acting, is that you have to play a villain now. All right.
Chris Hemsworth doing his best old Mel Gibson impression.
His best Mel Gibson drunk on a telephone impression?
That's right.
Yeah, he kind of reminded me of Mel Gibson in that Continental show, the John Wick show on Peacock.
Kapla!
Very similar.
My nipples,
wow, yeah,
kapla!
I forgot. I watched like 3 episodes of that, and I don't think I ever went back to it. Woo. I hit that up.
The South Park did Mel Gibson the best.
Oh,
Yeah, they did.
All right. So, I'll start with this one, and then I'll let you guys follow up. I was super excited about this. I figured this was going to be the movie of the year. It was top of my list for expectations. The cast is incredible. Obviously, George Miller's specific work on Mad Max is good. It's been a long time. I last watched the originals back in college, and me and my buddy rented all of them and had a bunch of liquor and watched the
It's the best way to
watched
watch
all
those
the Mad Max
movies.
movies. And,
The best
um,
way.
so
Yeah, I remember I was telling you guys a couple weeks ago. I think that was the weekend I was sick. Like they was, I think it was Showtime did the Mad Max
mhm,
marathon
mhm.
up to Fury Road. So after that, so I watched. I skipped. Road Warrior was on by the time I switched
Mhm.
over. I missed Mad Max, and then I watched Beyond Thunderdome, which wasn't so not the greatest of the three, but
Yeah,
you gotta love Tina Turner, right?
that's right.
So
It's been, like I said, it's
Mm.
and
been so long. It's those
yeah,
kind of memories. You have positive feelings, and that's all you can go by is like that vibe you get from looking at a poster and going, "Yeah, I had a good
hmm
time with that. That must have been a 3.5 stars at least, man." Right? Like this,
uh,
going through your letterbox, going, "Did I did I see that when I was like 12? What movie is that?" But anyway, yeah. So I had high expectations, and I think that kind of hurt this overall, just because they were so leveled up. Um, and we'll get to the actual, individual wise. But I was slightly disappointed in this. I still enjoyed it, but I was slightly disappointed. What about you guys? Did you have those high expectations like I did? Our trailer are the people who develop trailers too good at their jobs now? Mike, I'll let you go.
I wasn't impressed with the trailer as much,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have high hopes for this one.
Hmm.
No Tom Hardy, no Charlize, so I was kind of like Anya Taylor Joy's good.
Hmm.
Like I like her, but I was like I don't know about this one. So in all honesty, it beat my expectations.
Right.
So I wasn't expecting it to be that great,
Yeah,
but
there you go.
it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Expectations are a killer.
That's
All right,
right.
James.
I probably had a lower expectation than both of you guys. Um, just being honest.
Right.
I thought this was like a cash grab because they did so well with the first with Fury Road, which was a fantastic movie. The trailer made it seem like they're gonna give us more of like which we did get the car chases, the over the top, um, catastrophic collages of vehicles and man
That's
and
what I wanted,
machine.
baby.
Yeah, but I had a feeling, and I think I was right. We'll get into that. The story was going to be lackluster. That it was just going to be a big popcorn blockbuster. So that's what my impression of just seeing a trailer. I was a little bit confused though. I thought that Chris Hemsworth's character, because again, this is a prequel, was going to be playing what's his name,
Immortan Joe.
Immortal Joe.
Yeah. Right.
So that was my impression of watching it. I was like, "Oh, Chris Hemsworth kind of looks like him. Holy shit!" With
Right,
the
and
white
hmm
you
makeup.
like mess up his face and put all that shit on him, and eventually he's
Yeah.
just that guy. Yeah.
So that was my, raw reaction from the
I
trailer.
was with you on that
Minutes
assumption.
before I walked into the theater, I was like, "All right, here we
I
go."
know they showed pictures of Immortan Joe, but I figured I was right there with you that they were going to make this the setup for a long term run,
Yep.
and no, it wasn't. So what it actually is they set up a very standard revenge plot in the first, I don't know, 20 minutes. I'm guessing here. I didn't actually look up any numbers. That's what it felt
You're
like.
about right.
And then almost kind of after watching the whole thing, feeling an almost unnecessary section of this movie, which is uh Furiosa. I don't know why she has that name. She's living in an idyllic little Greenland and like oasis in the middle of this desert where nobody can find them apparently you can't.
She was probably conceived on Fury Road.
uh well
So
apparently.
so Daddy
Right.
said, I'm gonna name you after where you was conceived, baby.
And this is your brother Cadillac.
That's right.
And your brother's your mama's basement. So anyway, so apparently this is not only a giant forest hidden in the middle of a desert, but it's also unfindable, almost. You know?
It's like the Garden of
Yeah.
Eden, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But she manages to get captured by some bikers who find their way in and go to steal some food. And her mom chases her down, and her mom gets her out, but her mom is captured. And then she's nice enough to not take her mom's sacrifice for life and immediately returns to danger and gets captured again. All right. So this whole beginning, very basic plot. And James, you mentioned in the chat that you had started watching this with some young teens, your son and his friends, and they lost interest. And I agree. After starting this, I was like, oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah, they lost interest right after that whole sequence of them getting caught and the mother being killed, and then like the whole, I don't know, it wasn't a montage per se. It was just like her now moving on with Chris Hemsworth's character and like the next phase of her. Yeah, at that point they were just like, "What is this?" Like, yeah,
Yeah, most of that was who is Furiosa, right?
yeah.
Like character
And
development.
how is she traumatized now by witnessing the murder of her mother?
and and
Um,
all that
in somewhat graphic detail.
all that is a very basic setup for a revenge plot movie, which is what we got, except for the fact that most of the rest of the movie, she was not going, I've got to kill this guy who killed my mother. Like that, I don't want to say it got completely dropped. Obviously, it affected the character and whatnot, but it almost completely dropped for a very long time. This idea of revenge and why it's there. And that's why it felt
Mm.
like this whole revenge, this whole like setup, and like her mom was cool. The actress was cool. Some of the visuals were, obviously the visuals are all pretty consistent in this, were cool. But like as as a setup for the character, it was so worn out and basic that it almost didn't actually do anything for me watching it happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what
Yeah,
I was sorry, Mike. What I was confused about was why did she willingly stay even after she kind of bartered her freedom? Not bartered, but she kind of she snuck her way out of being enslaved with the other women, yet decided to stay and pretend to be one of the male. What do you call them?
Oh,
The
okay, okay.
warriors.
Let's that's farther in the
Yeah.
movie. So let's get to that
Oh,
next.
my bad. I thought we're still in the. Oh, this is this is past the point.
Yeah, we were just doing this is the way flashback. What did you guys think when you first saw this is where Hemsworth shows up and he's kind of supposed to be a smart, I don't know, I don't want to say smarter, but he's a guy who like spouts really prophetic, little quips.
he's a snake oil
Yeah,
salesman.
but he's actually kind of
He's like
dumb.
the Donald Trump of the
Yeah.
Yeah, but
apocalypse.
he has his own. He has the erudite scholar with him, giving
Yeah,
him
the history
words.
man.
Like, hey, what
Yeah,
is this?
And
Kind of remind me of what's that movie we just watched, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes,
mhm, mhm.
where
I
you
haven't seen
got
that yet.
this. Yeah, you got the smart human kind of helping the ape
And so he
Mm,
picks
to
up
learn
those
how to manipulate with words
mhm, mhm.
of folks. I
yeah.
had some vibes on that
but
one.
overall he's just like more of a dumb brute, but he's big and he's boisterous and he's loud and he runs the gang, right? This biker gang
Yes,
that's tent based, I guess. they're a tent based biker gang,
nomads
nomads.
or gypsies.
But as James said, so they're trying to find out where the Furiosa was found because obviously that is going to be a place because she's clean, she's got teeth. Obviously everything's
Looks like they got resources. Yep.
right. So, but her mom breaks her out, but instead of just trying to run away, she tries to get Furiosa to go and sacrifice herself to keep them back, and nothing works. So obviously they don't actually find this Garden of Eden, which we'll see in the next movie, Mad Max, is actually where they find that's gone anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where James we come in. We find out that Immortan Joe is already in power, and he's got his
This is where my confusion
Right.
started. I was like, wait a
He's
minute.
got
So who
his
the hell's Chris?
thing. He's got the water. He's got the wives. He's got everything.
The
Yeah, he's
Citadel,
already
yeah.
set up. He's got the war boys. This is not a Immortan Joe prequel, but
Right.
basically he tells Hemsworth to get the hell out and almost kills everybody.
Yeah. So at this point, just to finish the point I was trying to make earlier, was that I was confused with. It looks like we have two antagonists, right? We've got Chris Hemsworth, who's not playing an earlier version in Mortal Joe, and then we have the Mortal Joe as we know him from Fury Road, and then somewhere in there's Furiosa, who was kidnapped by one, the mother killed, and now is a hired
A hostage. She's a hostage at
hostage.
first.
Yeah, and then she gets traded
Mm-hmm.
to Immortal Joe's camp. And I'm like, and I'm trying to, ruminate here on what happened in Fury Road. How was the split between the older version and Immortal Joe? And I'm like, this plot seems too extra, like just to give us what we want: car crashes, the flaming guitars, and all that
And
stuff.
this is where I'm gonna definitely agree with you that there was something very too much like weird political stuff that you're not actually really you're supposed to understand, but is also just background fluff, but it also takes up a whole lot of screen time between
Yeah.
Immortan Joe with the Citadel, who's got the water and food, and the gun depot,
Oh yes,
the gun
this is
depot,
different.
and
Because they make a
Yeah, Bullet
Bullet
oh,
Town.
you
Town,
get
Yep.
and the
yeah,
oil
Bullet Town, Gas
And
Town.
Gastown, right? Yeah.
gasoline or yeah.
Gasoline.
But they're all
Fiefdoms, all these different
characters
fiefdoms.
in Fury Road, but they're just like they're mentioned, their background, they matter in a sense, but you don't spend a whole lot of time. You just have to have this idea that there's 3 locations and they each house one thing, and that's important. That's it. They trade. Like that's enough.
Yeah.
Now, like this whole plot develops about Chris Hemsworth's. I don't even know his character name to be honest. I keep calling him Hemsworth.
Dementus.
Dementus, yeah.
Taking over these other locations and then wanting to trade with Immortan Joe, but Joe doesn't want to trade, and then he takes over I'm like, what the hell does this have to do with my revenge plot? This is getting too
Like
unnecessarily
it's too
complex for what
much.
kind of
Too
movie
much.
this is.
It's still a better revenge plot than the Acolyte so far.
Well,
Jesus.
talk about another series that wants to get complicated, wants to be complex, wants to deal with issues, but doesn't actually want to sit down and get you involved in those issues. Like,
I mean, they can't all be John Wick, right? So
Or Kill Bill.
well, John Wick isn't even
Yeah.
complex. John Wick 1.
that's what I mean. The revenge movies, to the
Well,
point.
and that's what this could have been. This shit could have been like, oh, he's over there. Why does he have to be this bunker game? Why doesn't he just already run terribly Gastown and it's already a thing? And there's a retreat. Like simplify. Like Zack Snyder,
Mhm.
please simplify.
I'm like, why does she have so many opportunities to kill him, even before they get to the big, the third act? Like, I don't. It loses the meaning of a revenge movie.
Well, that's
in
the
my
thing. It
mind.
never felt like revenge until later, and this is way later in the movie, until
She
he
loses her
kills
lover.
her lover.
Yes, not
Well,
the
that's
mother, but the lover.
no, but I can see how she evolved from revenge as a kid and then growing up and falling in love and saying, is it worth it? I have this guy in my life now. I have this kind of good
Wait,
This
job.
good
Mike,
job.
but you're jumping the gun
I
there.
got a good job, a
There's a
stable
lot in the
job.
movie that happens before she meets Praetorian Jack. There's still a lot.
Yeah. So
There's a good,
so the whole
probably half of the movie that occurs before that.
so the
Right,
whole
right.
kid
But I don't know.
thing. So she actually gets traded by to Immortan Joe, and he's gonna make her a wife. Okay.
Hmm.
So she escapes one night when there's was probably the almost the worst the
Yeah, the other son tries
Yeah,
to
Got sexually assaulted
tries
her.
to
say,
assault
yeah.
her in a little Game of Thrones esque scene there, but she escapes. But she can't escape because obviously it's the middle of the desert. She has nowhere to go. So she hides in amongst the little kids at like dresses, covers, doesn't speak. I like that. That was all fine. That was fine and
That was
dandy. I
cool.
like that idea. But again, all of it is lost in this her not having that goal. It's so much better or more direct of a movie, of a plot, of a character if she's really tight on that goal. I'm gonna survive, but also I can get revenge on this dude and get back home. Like that's my goal.
Agreed.
But
So far, agreed.
it seems like
Mm.
it doesn't do enough with the character to put her heading towards that goal. Obviously, she's got to survive. She's got to make it. I get all that. She learns how to build the the rigs and shit and drive them and all that. I
So I think, yeah. So I think somewhere along the line, George Miller kind of lost because the ultimate goal is, remember, we have to. This movie has to connect to the next movie, the
mm-hmm,
Fury Road, and her and Charlize's character. So I think somewhere along the line, with the revenge plot, he forgot and said, "Well, I have to show you guys why she's this way in Fury Road,
mm-hmm.
why she's trying to escape, and take the girls with her." So I think somewhere in that revenge story, it kind of got lost because he decided I got to put all these other elements in, so Fury Road makes
Mm-hmm,
sense.
mm-hmm.
I don't know. At least that's what I
I
think.
mean, I think the connection tissue is there, and for the most part, it works. Like she's trying to escape by hiding out in the thing, but then she gets caught up in that what is the big battle of the movie, which I didn't
Yeah,
even realize
the
that was
hijack.
the big
Yeah.
one. My son came in and goes, "Oh, there's supposed to be like a cool 12-minute like huge battle thing." I'm like, I don't know. Did I watch that one already? I kind of got lost in the sauce. Like I was expecting a bigger one closer to the end of the movie, which it wasn't. Right, the big one was like in the middle, in her transition from okay, I'm just a kid trying to escape to now I'm Furiosa. But why didn't
Mm.
what I don't get is and they shouldn't have explained it, but I wish he had already been bald the whole time. Like, why is she going out there with long hair and
All right, now we get to. All right, I was waiting for you to get to
and,
the point.
and then
You know,
and then
let's
the
get to
driver's like,
the big
"Oh,
second
you're
act.
really
The
helpful.
big
I'm
second
gonna
act.
want you to be my co-pilot. Awesome." But isn't Immortan Joe going? Wait a minute. Why do you have this chick here? Like
Who are
like
you? Where'd you
where's my
come
Yeah,
wife?
from?
because
Yeah.
I lost a wife. When you show up, you kind of look like
the,
my
the
wife.
previous scenes was when she got promoted to like I don't know high wire act person
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
as playing in her character of being a bald younger boy, and then the
Yeah.
very next moment she's in the rig, with Praetorian Jack as one of the boys. And because of the all the other boys are getting killed, she's one of the last two people left. Now she has to expose herself, and I'm like, wait a minute, wasn't she bald like
Yeah,
the
that's what I was
previous
saying. Like she
act?
was keeping bald, but she was like covered constantly. So like, did she not get a chance to cut her hair for like 3 years?
Which makes absolutely no
I'm like,
sense.
that would
Like,
be something you'd really want to keep up with if you're trying to keep that up there. But anyway, it's a little detail. Obviously, they wanted
a lot of
Anya
detail.
Taylor Joy to have her hair and be recognizable, I guess. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's I didn't like it. Whatever. It's not that big of a
I mean,
deal.
Charlize was bald for the entire
Right.
movie, her movie,
I,
right? Yeah.
it just works better if she was always bald while trying to keep hidden from
Right.
being used as one of the wives.
Yeah.
Now she's more useful as a truck driver, and you know, she's permanently black grease on her head or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Racist.
Jeez.
So yeah, she joins
Well,
Praetorian Gen.
half
So,
racist.
so what do you think of the Mel Gibson, Wish.com, Tom
Praetorian
Tom
Jack.
Burke? Yeah,
Yeah, he did a
Kapla.
good job.
he was
I gotta
fine. He was
say, it was
fine.
one of the highlights of the movie was his acting and his character. Um, Tragic the way the character ended, but I thought that for a while again I was confusing him with Chris Hemsworth. I thought was Immortal Joe. I'm like, is this supposed to be Mad Max? But they didn't meet until the
No,
next
because we
movie.
see Mad Max in a shot
Yeah,
standing
but
up at the
the way
cliff.
the
Chilling on
dude
the cliff.
walks when he had the sawed-off shotgun, it was too many Easter eggs. The
Mhm.
hair, the leather jacket. I'm like, does everybody look like Mad Max out here? Other than
Well,
like,
apparently, the Tom Hardy Mad Max is not actually Mad Max. He's a different Max.
What?
No,
What?
oh,
he's not he's not what's his name? Not the original '80s Mad Max. He's the wild child who grew up, and he's now a new. He takes on the Max
yeah,
identity.
Mike, fact check that. Yeah, fact check. Like
Okay, so
ESPN first take, fact check.
no, I was trying to say IMDb's not showing his last name, but
No, it doesn't. So,
Well, we'll get back to that. But go
what
ahead, Chris.
were the chapter titles necessary? I'm going to do a little
No,
nitpick.
they were not.
Has there
no,
You asked the
that kind of
question.
threw me
has there
off
ever
too.
been a good movie
What
that
made
has
it
chapter
worse?
titles?
Yes, Kill Bill. Kill Bill was a fantastic movie that had chapter titles. But what made this one worse is because you also gave us the location titles across the screen, which is like a double no.
It was unnecessary. There's only
Like
like 3 locations.
I'm
It's
like,
really not
this
necessary
was
to give me a map.
not necessary.
It's not like it's Discworld or something or
Okay, so Max's name in the original Mad Max is Max Tansky.
yeah, he's like a
Tansky.
cop or something.
Yeah, he's a cop. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then
What's this Mad Max?
let's go to Fury
Is
Road.
this another universe? Multiverse?
No, because
Mm.
hang on.
Mad Max 616.
No, it's just supposed to be the same
I don't
universe.
want that. Hang on. Films.
So,
Here we go.
I mean,
Fury Road.
the action set pieces were what I expected, but unfortunately, there was like 3 or 4 things that were really cool that were new that they tried to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Worked just fine, but I don't think there was enough new that it reached the level. And this is the problem of anything you go in a sequel. It's hard to reach that spiritual level of going, I've never seen this before. When you're going, oh, I've seen this before. In a slightly
Yeah,
better
but
movie.
I do have to admit the tanker rig second act, I think it was the big middle
Mm-hmm.
action set piece
Mm-hmm.
to me was, if not as good or better than anything I've seen in Fury
With
Road.
the
That's
with the
what I thought
giant
too. I
swinging
thought,
That
truck
middle,
nuts.
yeah.
yeah, because there's so much was. I mean, it's an extended piece, by the way. It goes
It's
on
a
and on
long,
and on and on
long one.
and on. With the squid and the whatever nuts you call it, all that stuff. A lot was
And the
happening.
fans
That was
and the
fantastic.
paragliders.
Unfortunately, it overshadows whatever action sequences we got in the third
I
act. Because after
I
that, it was just
definitely
like a big
noticed.
letdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I expect Oscars to be at their door for video effects or whatever they're giving these awards
Special
out for.
effects.
Special
So
Yeah.
effects action
yeah,
sequences. Yeah.
it just felt weird. There was a lot of to do, and then let's just say it out loud. Like she goes and where they get captured, that whole sequence where they go to Bullet Town to get a meeting, but it's actually been taken over.
It's like Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. I'm like, it was a
It
trap.
was a trap.
You guys fell
But
for
they
it.
make it out, but they don't really make it out because for
No,
some
they don't.
reason a giant 4-wheel truck can now take down a giant metal gate. If you
Not even that. It could outrun a much
if
smaller
you right
vehicle.
if you've room far enough, and then something that had like a 15 minute head start through the desert, which is mostly straight, maybe go around a couple of sand dunes, which we noticed that they did a few times, but a much smaller vehicle with a lot less weight in it. And they didn't even see it coming. They didn't see nothing coming. I don't know.
Batman was
Yeah.
jealous.
And then they took her arm. That was cool. That was a cool sequence. They strung her up, but she ripped her arm off. Somehow.
Well, yeah, the way it happened was she had the accident
Yeah.
from the
Oh,
chase
she stuck
scene.
her arm up and she
Yeah,
got
the car smashed.
Right.
Yeah,
mauled.
And got
well, you
smashed.
knew where that was going.
Which is fine. You have to explain no arm. If you're going to start with 2 arms, you have to explain losing arm. That's fine.
Yeah.
But we are kind of getting to Solo levels of explaining all of the little characters' parts. Cutting her hair, driving the rig, cutting off your arm. Like, there's everything happening all at once. But anyway, I guess it's
Somewhere there's a mechanical engineer is able to create the arm so that it connects to
Okay.
her nerve synapses
This is
and
what
her
I don't.
shoulder.
This has bugged the hell out of me. When she gets back to Joe, she tells him that they took over, and they're like, "And it's a war, and it's been
And
3
it's a
years,
trap. And they're setting another trap for him.
and she built herself one-handedly a mechanical arm that works better,
Yeah. DeVry Tech.
works better than any modern technology, you know."
Tony Stark built this out of a cave.
That's right.
She went up Tony Stark
Furiosa built this in a cave with a box of scraps.
and corpse.
Pretty much.
So, and then she goes and steals a car, and of course, he's only got 3 guys left. Like, what happened? Like, all this exciting shit, you just like.
Oh yeah, there was a montage of all that war because there's a narrator again.
I hated
Talk
the
about
narrator
movie
the whole
don'ts.
time.
Narrator, I know. Those are another movie don'ts. Don't give me a narrator that you haven't heard for half the movie. All of a sudden, you're narrating the sequence. So you see the montage of all the different wars that's happening. I guess that's supposed to give you the length of time that it takes for her to Tony Stark herself and get the car and all this stuff. So she arrives at a battle scene, I guess 40 days later
Yeah.
from the time that she
I
arrived.
don't know.
I don't know.
The
We're
fuck?
guessing. She steals a 4th tire and off she goes.
No, they steal the tire off the car that she brought.
Yes.
I don't know
Correct.
what. Again, it's another thing. Like, it's a complication that's unnecessary, that takes time, that causes things to slow down. Like, if you edit this thing down quite a bit, it could be. I think it would elevate it for me. If you tighten this story up, made the character like more direct, like, this is what I'm gonna do. Then she realizes she can't go anywhere. She's still stuck. She's got to work for Joe until she can figure out her next move. That's fine. It's just, I just think they overcomplicated this story way too much, and lost sight of the cool revenge flick within a Mad Max universe.
Agreed.
I mean, that's all it is. It was more weird than exciting. I just, and I liked it. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like it. I'm struggling to think it's even in my top 5 this year, which I'm so sad to say out loud.
Where did I put Godzilla versus Kong or Godzilla X Kong?
You're not putting this below Godzilla X Kong, no.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Like, they're in the vicinity.
Oh my god.
They're circling each
I won't
other.
go that low.
They're circling each other.
But I will say it was very nice of them to remind me of the much better movie in the credits for some reason.
Well, yeah, I almost turned it off, and then I realized, there's more credits
There's
happening.
Mad Max credits. And it's not even new stuff. It's just, hey, let's show some pickups. I guess there was one new scene with her stealing the rig initially. Maybe? Was that a new scene, or was that in the original?
No. I mean, how the women were escaping, I guess that was new.
Yeah, that was it. I was like, did they actually bring in that whole cast for like a 30-second shot?
Probably CGI.
Probably some
CGI.
facial replacement. Okay, so we're gonna grade this thing, and then
wait, hold on. Let's talk about the ending for the character Dementis. So that again, a narrator. Yeah, the narrator gives us 3 different possibilities. Which possibility you think actually occurred in the story?
With how long they showed it, I assumed that the last one was the reality. Because
That he
what did
was
they show? They showed
foil
she just
for
shot him
the
in the head, right?
yeah.
Number two was she she
Dragged him.
she tortured him, right? She
Yeah, tortured him and dragged him by
by the chains,
her car.
like he did to her boyfriend.
Correct.
And then the last one is she planted the tree she had been keeping the seed for in his balls or something.
Yeah.
I I don't know how that works. Like
Yeah, I don't know how that works scientifically, but
like he wouldn't be alive. Like what functionality is happening in his body where the tree still
nutrients.
grows?
Like Little Shop of Horrors over
Yeah.
here.
But I assumed with how long they like held that shot for, with how grotesque they made it, how it
Yeah.
felt like that's what they were saying.
I think she dragged him. I think it was the second
It
option.
seems like do you like bring him back to Morton Joe? Go, hey, do you have a place I can plant this guy? Like I just need like a ridge with some sunlights. Got to use some water. I'm gonna need a lot of water for this because this is a tree. And then like 20 years from now, I guess it wouldn't take 20 years. But how long would a tree like that take to grow from a seed to that size?
Yeah. A couple years
That's a
at
good
least.
That
question.
would take
At
at
least
least a
10 years.
decade.
Yeah, at least 10
Mhm.
years.
And she wasn't supposed to. Was she? How old is she in Fury Road? She's
She looks to be early 30s, I want to say.
yeah. I guess she could be around that long. Hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you divorce yourself from science and
Well, I assumed it was just
botany,
about the age of Charlize Theron and about the age of Anya Taylor Joy.
yeah. Again, if you disregard botany and
That's
science,
right.
medical
That's right.
science.
Till it fruits,
All
like
right.
how long to a tree fruits. Anyway, yeah, that I guess that it just seems more direct. Again, they wanted to make a little grotesque visual of it. I'm sure that was something in their head going, oh, this looks so cool. What if he was, you know, but
Mhm.
I think it just, not because it's not, I guess, an interesting visual, but because it just feels weird to what is that character? Is that character going to go there every day and feed this man waiting for the tree to grow? Too? Like, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work for the guy.
Hell of a way to live out the rest of your life.
It's true.
Yeah.
All right, we ready for grades? I think.
Yeah, let's okay, first I'm going to do grades, and then I want to ask you guys what your favorite revenge movies are.
Oh my god.
Okay? So I'll let just just do the grades first. We'll go through those first, and then we'll do the revenge movies
Okay.
after. So I'll give you guys a minute to think about it. Mike, what is your grade for Furiosa?
Yeah. So for this one, a lot of issues with it, but I still really enjoyed it. So I'm going B minus,
Okay, nice.
and I'll stick with that.
Okay, James.
God, you persuaded me. I was looking at C plus, but again, after hearing all your points and remembering how great the cinematography and action sequences were, I can't give it lower than B minus. So I'm gonna go with B minus as well.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it had all of the same visuals that I applauded in the first one, right? So you can't turn that down because it's not like he
Mhm.
changed the look of the film for this style or anything. The I think the actors were giving all the right performances. I just think the story fell kind of short and too short and long. I was actually going to give it a straight B. I could go B minus to make it even, but I'm going to give it a straight B. I
Hmm.
still think it looks great, but it's not where I wanted it to be, and I don't want to let my high expectations bring me too much farther down than where I think it should be.
Expectations.
All right, now best your favorite. You can do one, you can do a bunch. It's up to you, but your favorite revenge movies. So I had made a quick list of some of my favorites on Letterbox. So I have a list here. So
How many do you have?
if you're questioning some ideas, I know James, you called out Kill Bill as one of your
Yep,
favorites, and
that's one of my top three.
you
Yep.
said that before quite often. For me, that is not one of my top ones. I do want to call out.
What?
I have not necessarily placed it my all time yet because I'd have to watch it again. But I do want to call out Monkey Man from earlier this year as a great revenge movie that you guys really need to watch. Everybody listen.
It's not better than Kill Bill.
Everybody watch it. Go watch Monkey Man. It's fantastic. Um, it's Dave Patel's. I think it's his directing debut as well.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's fantastic. Okay,
It's by no means anywhere near
I think
Kill
my
Bill.
number one all time is probably Braveheart.
That is a
I
revenge movie.
watched it hundreds of times through college, and whenever I turn it on, if
I got to put that as my number 6.
if I'm watching it, my wife will immediately fall asleep. Like it's like melatonin for her. She passes right out. But I love that movie. Probably my number one.
It's my number 6 here on my list.
Oh, you actually have them numbered?
Yeah, while we were talking, I created one. Braveheart is it my turn?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So my number 6 is Braveheart.
Okay.
Fantastic movie, fantastic score, fantastic everything. My number 5 is John Wick, the first one. My number 4 is Conan the Barbarian.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
My number 3 is Unforgiven.
I don't think I even have
Oscar-winning
that on the
movie.
list here. Ooh, that's a good one.
That's William Money. Fantastic. Number 2 is The Crow.
Amazing film. Great, Paul.
I watch it probably once every month.
I watched it
And number
recently.
1 to me,
Still great.
yeah, Kill Bill 1 and 2.
Okay. Mike,
That's my.
you don't have to give them in order, Mike, but if you have a couple you want to call out. You're on mute, Mike. You're on mute.
What you got, Mike? Yeah, you're on mute.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, like I was saying, I have a couple, like just off the top of my head. I'm thinking like Gladiator's a great one.
Gladiator, fantastic.
Speaking of that sequel coming out, so
at some point it starts losing the meaning of a revenge movie. It becomes more like an overthrow revolutionary movie. But yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I mean, but it is revenge against the Emperor, right?
The original, just like this movie Furiosa, supposed to be
right. Yeah. The Professional.
Fantastic movie once they pulled out the creepy stuff from the director.
Yeah, what else?
Always beware of those French directors, guys. Be very aware.
Probably Man on Fire, something
fantastic.
like that. Yeah, that's a great one as
Love
well.
that movie.
Yeah. So.
All right, I'll call out a couple ones that you guys, because you already said Leon, you already said Man on Fire, The Crow, obviously Crow. All right, V for Vendetta.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm a big fan of the Punisher movie.
I loved it too. I can't put it top 6.
It's not top 5, but you guys already called out like pretty much all.
Punisher's a good one. The one with what's that actor's name? Oh my god.
Which one are you on?
The one with John Travolta as the bad guy.
Yeah, it's Punisher.
That one, Saint.
It's the Thomas
Whatever
Jane
Saint.
Punisher.
Yes, Thomas Jane.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
God's gonna have to sit this one out.
Might be a top 5. Desperado. Love Desperado.
That's a good one. I love Desperado.
It is a good one, yeah.
Okay, and Commando.
Oh, that's not a revenge. She's still alive.
Classic. I guess
that's not a revenge movie. She's alive.
Okay. All right. Some notable ones that people should watch that they may not have watched. Okay. So is there one from? Is it last year? Yes. A Korean one called Ballerina. I said this when I watched it. I told you guys to watch it. Go watch Ballerina. I believe it's on Netflix.
Okay.
Surprise one, Peppermint. I actually enjoyed this one. This is the what's her name? God, Jennifer Garner actually. Jennifer
Hmm.
Garner leading this Peppermint. Equalizer. The
Hmm.
first Equalizer specifically, and the last one was okay. The third one was okay. The second one, eh. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rocky Four, honorable
I guess.
mention.
Uh,
After
actually,
follows death.
Death Wish. We didn't mention Death Wish.
Oh, we're
Hmm.
going to the 70s now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all about
That's right.
vengeance.
Taken. How did we miss Taken? Did we mention Taken?
She's a lot. Okay, so Taking a Commando to me don't qualify because he's not avenging.
Those are rescue movies. Those
Rescue.
aren't.
Okay,
There
so
you go.
I
Yeah.
can create a new list then of rescue movies. That's a good call. Um,
Mm.
is Blade a revenge movie?
No, his mother was a lot. Oh, she was turned to a vampire.
So she's technically dead.
Yeah, I don't know if it's revenge because his whole thing is to hunt vampires, so it doesn't really matter. You know what I
But
mean?
isn't
He was
Yeah.
going to hunt them down no matter
wasn't he
what.
only? Well, yeah, but I guess you're in a revenge. You have a finishing point where I guess he ever going to finish hunting vampires?
No, he kept on. Blade 2, he just kept on going anyway.
Yeah, okay, that can come off the
You
list.
could argue all of the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight movies was based on
Oh,
his traumatic
this
murder of his
is
parents.
a fun one. Beekeeper.
Oh,
True. Yeah. Isn't Wrath of
Fast and
Man?
Furious. Dom Toretto's still getting over his father's fucking crash.
Isn't every Jason Statham movie a revenge
No, a
movie?
lot of them are protection movies. If
Was Wrath of Man was a revenge movie though, right?
Wrath of Man was, but he's got a couple protection movies where he gets
Yeah, like Transporter and
a young girl of some kind. And
right.
This is an interesting genre. I'm surprised we never really.
okay, no, I never even thought of that as separate genres, but yeah, I like that separation, the protection versus the revenge. I'll have to start a new list and it'll probably open things up for me a bit.
The
Yeah.
Revenant. Oh, the Revenant.
The Revenant. I don't think I never saw the Revenant.
Yeah, with Leo.
Yeah, his Oscar-winning movie.
Yeah, that's a good one
Right.
too.
Killed his wife and unborn child, and yeah.
Hmm.
Hey, that movie Kate that we watched a couple years ago.
The Revenant.
No, Kate.
Yeah,
Oh, The Revenant. Sorry, yeah.
yeah, the Revenant. Yeah, it's where he gets mauled by the bear.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he won an Oscar for it.
Hmm.
Oh, oh, oh.
Yeah, Kate. A lot of those assassin movies are kind of they're at least the modern ones are like revenge. We don't need you as an assassin
Well,
anymore, so we're gonna
the
kill you.
Count
Try
of
to
Yeah,
kill
but I
you.
don't think that's
Cristo.
again. Those it's like a slight difference of revenge to a almost like a last job, but not quite like a last assassination
Oh
job.
shit!
Like the killer,
Here's one for you. I
the
like
killer
this.
from this past
Mm.
year. Was that
Yeah.
this year?
The Killer was last year. Last year. Here's one for you. Let me know if you're ready, because you mentioned '70s Death Wish.
I
The
said
Godfather.
Death Wish.
Yeah. How about this one? The Godfather.
Yeah, the Godfather's on
Vito
the list.
Corleone.
look,
His
okay,
entire
you
family
guys
is based
know
on.
this is a big black mark on my movie watching. I have never seen The Godfather.
Oh my god, you got to watch that.
Yo, this is the death of Harris Peak tonight. Have you never seen The
Look,
Godfather?
I spent a lot of time the beginning of this year when things were slow watching things I hadn't watched before, and I got some
Can we
empty
assign them
spots.
homework, Mike, this weekend? For watching the first one? You don't need to go to the second one, just the first one,
Yeah, yeah.
and not the full 4-hour version. Just get the regular. I
Oh,
don't know,
speaking of things I watched,
regular TV broadcasting
things
version.
I watched this year that were protection films and are remakes. We got Fistful of Dollars being a remake coming up.
Yeah.
We don't need that.
No, we don't. There was nothing about that film that said this could be something new. It really is. It's of its time. It's of
Yeah.
its director. It's of its actor. It really is. It's all vibes. It's great. Anybody who's never seen Fistful of Dollars, I was so surprised by how much I love this movie. It's my favorite of the movies I'd never seen that I watched this year. Fistful of Dollars. Watch it.
Revenge of the Nerds. On that, we will end now, bro. Yo, that's it. We got to end
That's
Revenge
it.
of the Nerds.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make some lists of.
The name is in there.
All right, I want to
Revenge of the Nerds.
thank everybody for joining us. You all have a lot of recommendations for good movies to go see. If you haven't seen all of the movies we've pretty much mentioned here, they were all good enough to watch. Mike, where can people find us on the social medias?
As usual, all over the internet at Heroes Peak. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube,
And
anywhere you get your socials.
that's right. All right.
Don't
If
forget to like
anyone
and
here is going
subscribe.
to be at San Diego Comic-Con this year in 2 weeks, tag us on Heroes Peak at Twitter, Threads, X, whatever it's called now,
Oh,
Instagram.
I never check Threads, by the way.
And we'll do a meet and greet. Some of you guys I know I
Yeah.
meet already, but others who are interested,
Right.
tag us, and I'll try to do a meet and greet with you guys.
Awesome, guys. Thank you. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you soon.
See you next time.
Hey, Indigo made the beat.